We are with Dr. Ismail Cisse, Minister of Information, Media and Broadcasting. And the program is Coffee Time with Peter Gomez. The appointment of the head of the IEC should not be in the hands of the president because it will always be biased.
Well, it's not only in the hands of the president. There are safeguards in place. That is why the 1990 Constitution is very clear that the president appoints the IEC chairperson in consultation with the Public Service Commission and the Judicial Service Commission. And in this case, it was done in that way, and this is what the law says. So there are safeguards. It's not only in the hands of the president.
Uncle Peter, could you ask Dr. Cisse when next he is with you in the studio, what is the government doing about the so-called guest houses that have turned our neighborhoods into red light districts? I live in Sukuta Salaji, where we have two on the same street. After 7 p.m., all we hear are fights and arguments until 5 a.m. This has to be addressed as we are trying to raise our families, and these are bad examples being set through no fault of ours. The owners of these compounds have been approached to no avail. I would like to remain anonymous, please.
Well, I spoke with the IGP yesterday when I got this text message, and on top of this, and they've taken note and they'll work on this. He said he promised to do something about this.
And someone says, if the current chairman of the BAC is a failure, this is something you said last week, what would you call the former chairman, Shirifo?
Well, I'm not going into that. What I can tell you is that, in fact, I was in Brikama. You know, my mom lives in Brikama, and I go to Brikama quite often. And then just behind the street, I saw some, piles and piles and piles of litter. And I was like, what is the area council doing? And the person told me, you haven't seen anything. Go to the garage or the market. You'll be shocked.
Did you go?
I did not. And I thought, I've seen people celebrating the chairman last week. He built some small hole behind a street. He said for the water to pass. And they say, hey, the chairman is walking. He's really doing well. I said, well, if that is what we consider as someone doing a good job, then the bar is very low. With all honesty, Peter, Youngs is my brother.
Oh, really?
I have nothing against him. He's from Kafuta. I'm from Brikama. We are all from West Coast region. But to be honest, I think he needs to do more in providing basic services to the people of West Coast region.
Good morning, Uncle Peter. Please remind the Minister that the Association of Sign Language Interpreters are ready to meet with him to discuss about the employment of sign language interpreters in GRTS.
Well, they can engage me after this call and we can have an appointment with them.
Good morning, Uncle Peter. This is just a follow-up about the difference in the income tax payment for government versus private sector employees. Can the Minister give an update as he promised?
Well, I have to apologize. That escaped me. I did not make a follow-up, but I'll take note of this now. Is it income tax?
Yeah, the difference. I think actually he means the taxation.
Taxation between private sector?
Yes.
Workers?
My allowances are taxed. Allowances of people in the public sector are not taxed. If West Coast Radio gave me a house, which they haven't done, the house will be valued and 27% of that has to be paid to the government.
The competent body for this question too is the GRA.
Yeah.
I'll speak with Youngs.
Youngs has to come. Yeah. Maybe it's one of those things that
he has to discuss. Yes, it's a very important question. Needs,
I flagged it already. He said he was traveling.
Yeah.
But eventually he will come, and that's one thing we really need to thrash out.
Yeah.
Because now what government is doing is to make the private sector unattractive to employees, and that's why everybody's going to the public sector.
Yeah.
Really, it's really
there should be incentives. If they don't exist, there should be incentives.
Yes. Why are the coastal road, the road from Tabokoto to Abuko and Banjul-Nding, former VP's residence, and the one to the highway from Abuko to the GNPC, all abandoned for over 6 months now without any activity? The small portions done on the coastal road are very substandard, and there are no upgraded diversions too.
Well, I think Ibrahim Asila,
who usually listens.
I hope he's listening. If he's listening, Ibrahim, give us some updates on that.
Mm-hmm. Good morning, Uncle Peter. Please ask Dr. Cisse, from Tipa Garage to Sukuta Police Station, the road is really bad. Ask him, the road leading from Safidin to Nusrat High School is yet to be complete.
Well, work is ongoing. And Peter, I think we also have to understand that we cannot build all the roads in this country at the same time. It has to do with resources. It costs a lot of money to build roads, but also, and sometimes these things can take time. So what we are doing our best as a government to build as much roads as possible. We're also doing our best as a government to rehabilitate most roads as possible. Now, the person sending this text, I can bet you that we have 20, 30 other people out there who can also call and say our road leading to this is also bad. Like, for example, in Brikama, 2 roads which are very critical roads. The one from
Jellybar Junction?
No, before, no, after that. The one just by the police station towards the market, and also the one from Jar Oil in Newtown towards Youth Center. Bad state, but I've seen that NRA now is working on those roads now. In fact, we use diversion now because work is ongoing. So there are many roads that are dilapidated. Like I said, decaying infrastructure is one of our problems in this country. The government is doing all it can to renew this. We urge governments to be patient. We'll get there. If we have not reached your street yet, we'll come to your street.
I don't think you'll ever get to mine.
The president's vision and ambition is to make sure that every street in this country is paved. But this has to do with resources. And we are doing our best to make that happen, but we have to start somewhere. At least work is ongoing. The reason why people are calling to say our road, because we are doing something. If we are not doing anything at all, people wouldn't even have any expectation for us to build their road. So the expectations are there, and we're happy for that.
I agree 100%. Good morning, Uncle Peter. Idi. This is Idi now texting. Very unhappy with you. It's a disgrace to hear the minister say this government is fighting corruption. Really? The corruption happening under this government has never happened under Jawara, and Barrow just lets people go free. Imagine the GRA, oil scandal, the COVID funds, and so many GRA, does it mean GPA, and so many other things still happening. Can he update us from the Education Minister for employment in September, please?
Now, what I'm trying to say is that...
Two things here. There's the corruption one side.
I mean,
and
like
also,
I said, Peter... The only reason why people talk about corruption now is because the government it's functioning. We are fighting it. Because if we are not fighting it, if for example, crime is happening in a particular context, and you are not fighting it, you turn a blind eye to it, it will never be exposed. People never realize crime. What I'm telling you is that because people,
this question is relative. Let me just read it. It says, good morning, Mr. Gomez. Please ask the minister, when is the Anti-Corruption Commission starting operations?
But the recruitment is over. Okay. I think they've shortlisted the candidates. Very soon it will start. But the most important thing is that, let me go back to the oil saga?
Scandal, yeah. And I hear GRA.
This shows that democracy is working in this country. When was the last time you witnessed lawmakers from even within the ruling coalition making such an investigation against sitting ministers in terms of these things? So what I'm telling, and also, but it's not like nothing is happening. They're just done with their report. It was adopted by a plenary. Government is waiting for it to be handed to government for action. So as people, I think we are normally impatient sometimes. And you don't expect for there to be allegation and for government to say, take people to mile 2. That doesn't work in a democracy. We need to follow democracy comes with bureaucracy and procedures. And therefore, we need to follow those procedures. It is called rule of law. Otherwise, the government will be overreaching his powers. The president cannot do that. We follow procedures, and the president is a democratic president, and he follows democratic procedures. But what I can tell you is that he mentioned that corruption is worse under Jawara's government. Anyway, I cannot respond to that, but we all know why. One of the reasons, I'm not sure how old Eddie is, whether he witnessed the Jawara era, but I who witnessed it. One of the main reasons that the junta gave in 94 for toppling the government was because of corruption.
Yeah.
So you cannot come and tell me that there was no corruption under Jawara's government. And
that regime came and became even worse.
Exactly.
Hi, Uncle Peter. Can you please ask the minister about the second batch of Spain circular migrants? I submitted all the required documents to Labour Department, but yet still, even though I hope to be selected, I really want to be selected if there is going to be a third batch. I admire Dr. Ismail Assise, and I love his intelligence, somebody who simply signs off as MS.
MS. Well, thank you. What I can tell you is that there are 350, we need 350 people. 39 has gone. 59 is ready. Their visas are being processed. So he might be lucky. He just have to wait. Even me, I applied. I'm yet to
come on.
I'm yet to be called. So I'm also in the same boat like him. But like on a more serious note, Peter.
Exactly.
Let him be patient. If he's lucky and then he meets the criteria, they might call him.
All right. Good morning, Uncle Peter. I admire Dr. Cisse for simply being a professional, a man of integrity and commitment. He shows up to CTWPG usually even after all the hullabaloos from the opposition. I wish we had lots of people like him that can help transform this country and deliver us through the process like he alluded. Omar Balde Farato. If you were a Balde, I would say, is that your brother?
No.
Uncle Peter, why is it that the minister always defends the government? Let him be realistic. Why is he always blaming the opposition? Let him tell us the seriousness of this government when the president's office budget is more than our agriculture, health sector, and all the instructions, or should that be institutions? What's the State House doing with $1 billion? This is all about corruption. This country is the worst in terms of corruption, and this is from Surahata.
Well, I'll tell Surahata one thing. It's important for governments to understand how things
What's the State House doing with $1 billion?
State House is not using $1 billion. Remember, Peter, State House budget also includes the Office of the President, includes the State Guard Command, includes the Vice President's Office, and all the subvented institutions under the Vice President's Office, the NDMAs, the Food Safety, all these institutions, about 5 or 6 institutions. So it's like the people think that the $1 billion is only for the office of the president. No. What about the vice president's office budget? It's under that. It's also part of that $1 billion, and all the institutions and the State Guard Command. So if you come to think of it, the State House's budget is a couple of $100 million. If you remove the vice president's office, you remove the 8 subvented institutions under the VP's office, you remove the State Guard Command, it's nothing. But also, people also have to understand sometimes that's what they call budget effectiveness. Peter, my office, for example, it can be that I've been budgeted $40 million. By the end of the fiscal year, I might use only 40-50% of this money.
Oh.
Of course. It doesn't mean that because I've been given.
But we never hear the minister say, well, last year's budget was, for instance, 13 billion, and we only used 11 billion.
But it's called estimates of revenue and expenditure.
Yeah, but that's the amount of money you ask people to give you, and they give you every year.
No. When you see, people don't understand the budget process. That is why civic education, people don't understand how the budget works. Many Gambians, unfortunately, when I was a professor at the university, sometimes I tease my students. I have this session before I start, say what's trending in Gambian politics. And I'll ask students, who is the Minister of Higher Education? Some wouldn't even know. I said, how much budget is allocated for higher education, your sector? They wouldn't know. Most Gambians don't want to engage in these things. And even the Minister of Finance makes it easy to even produce a simplified version called citizens' budget, so citizens can understand the budget. How it works, you estimate that, okay, this country, we need $1 billion to provide electricity, to provide water, security, support farmers, education, healthcare, empowerment, we need $1 billion for this year. But this $1 billion, we are getting it from X. We're expecting these guys to pay taxes. It comes in. Then they say, basic education, we allocate to $50 million. But along the way, it's not like it's given to account basic education. It's still with treasury. So they give you allocation every month. And it comes sometimes you request and there's no allocation. So sometimes, and the year ends, you are not able to do some of the things that you want to do. So it's like use this $1 billion and spend it. You cannot be corrupt because there are procedures to even access this money. It's not like they take the $1 billion, take it to state and give it to the president keep it. It doesn't work like that. So how can you be corrupt in this thing? How can you engage in corruption when it comes to the budget? You cannot, because there are rigid procedures.
Why would you have structural adjustment, programs, then the minister going occasionally to the National Assembly? I can't remember it happening last year, maybe, or even the year before, but, it was almost habitual before.
You mean
receipts.
supplementary?
Supplementary, whatever.
Yeah,
Yes.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes
it was habitual. So don't tell me that just because we asked for this, it does not mean that you would spend even up to 50%. Whatever has been asked for in the past in this country has been used up and even more demanded.
No, what I'm saying is that it depends on the sector. So some sectors can go above, particularly social and critical sectors like healthcare, education. But some sectors, like my sector, for example, I might not need. So like
it's dishonest then for the Minister of Finance to go and ask for supplementary budget when you have other sectors where they can and you have this environment. No, this one will not. This will not wash.
It is not dishonest. I know what I'm telling you. That sometimes it's called budget effectiveness. Sometimes you don't use your entire budget in the fiscal year. That I can tell you.
The finance minister should know that.
But he knows that. There are but the budget supply is not done every year. Sometimes it happens. No, that's what I'm saying.
It has ceased with Sidiketa.
That's what I'm saying.
Despite what people think about him,
exactly.
I mean, there are some areas that he really, stands out as a shining example.
My experience in government within this short period is that sometimes you don't use all of your budget. Let's say, for example, they give you for entertainment vote $1 million. But you might not use it because there is no cost to use it.
Listen. You are talking about,
I'm giving an example. That sometimes, so when this person is saying that 1 billion to the office of the president only leads to corruption, it doesn't mean this 1 billion is taken in bulk and given to the president. No, there are ways to access this 1 billion. But also, like I said, and just to conclude on this 1 billion is not only for OP. It is for OP, it is for OVP, it is for State Guard Command, it is for all the subvented institutions under the office of the vice
president. So the budget for the defense excludes the State Guard Command.
The State Guard, they are at the State House. That's where they eat. That's where they sleep.
No, just say yes or no. Yes. So the budget for defense excludes the State Guard Command.
That's what I meant to understand, yes.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Gomez. The Abasanyan case will never come to light because the man knows a lot about his former colleagues. So if they take him down, they go down with him.
Well, that's a conspiracy theory. What does he know about his former colleagues? There's a case in the courts. Like I said, I cannot comment on the case. It's with the judiciary, and the case is ongoing.
How much time do you still have?
Well, it's up to you.
Okay, all right. Let's take another 15, 20 minutes.